We're at the Santa Monica Vintage Fashion Expo, and we are talking to Robert and Christie Alvarez from Vintage Blue Moon. They are co-owners of the show, and they're going to talk to us today about what it's like to be at a show and give us a few tips on how to shop at a show. Hi, Robert. Hi, Christie.
Hi.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you got started in vintage?
Well, we started actually in about 1998. And we actually started in 1998, and we were doing, actually collecting. And I was doing fashion shows, and that had a huge collection, and my husband decided, why don't we start selling? So that's what we started doing, and my girlfriend turned me on to this show and found that it's a great show. It's a show where you meet so many people. People are so in love with vintage, and this was just the perfect show to start. And again, then we decided to buy into the show. So we've been co-owners for how long now?
3 years.
Yeah,
3 years. And actually, we've both been into vintage since high
school.
And when we met, I didn't know that she was into vintage when I met her, but as we got to know each other, then we realized we liked vintage clothing. So we used to go shopping in Pasadena and East LA and different locations where they had a lot of good vintage clothing, and gravitated towards this end of the business.
Yeah, we love it. It's our passion. It really is.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the differences between a vintage show and a flea market and maybe shopping online?
Oh, wow, there's such differences. Being at a vintage show, you're getting people who are going to come to a show that are here for vintage. This is their passion, this is what they love. They're going to come here to buy, and they love the feel, the touch, and to try things on. At a flea market, you're getting a lot of different individuals. They're not necessarily looking for vintage. They're just out there to see what catches their eye. So you're not going to get the true lover of vintage, but yet you get a lot of dealers who are looking. I tend to go to flea markets. I love it. And so, but again, the majority of the people are just there to just spend a nice day walking and to see what catches their eye. A website, you're getting people who are definitely going to the website for the particular item you're selling. The difference is with the website is they don't always necessarily buy right away because of the idea of wanting to see if it fits, if it's going to work. So you might get things that you may sell better on a website as far as accessories go, but it's still a good avenue to get to know the person, to let them know about the shows, and they will buy. And we've been pretty successful with ours actually, but we've been doing it. When did we get our website going?
About a year and a half ago.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago. It took a while to really get started, but we're getting more people because they come to the show, they know we have the website, then they go to the website.
I would say another difference is people coming to a show such as ours here in Santa Monica, they understand how to handle vintage clothing.
Exactly.
People who don't understand vintage clothing, they tend to handle it a little bit rougher, and sometimes can tear the chiffon dresses. They just don't handle with it as gently.
We've noticed that. We've experienced that with, say, other shows we've done that are antique shows with a vintage flair to it. And things that are more delicate do tend to get damaged because they don't have a clue. They're more of the mall shopper. So here, you know that your things are going to be handled with care. You're going to get people more educated with vintage.
And also here you'll find higher end vintage items, designer vintage items, compared to in many cases at a flea market.
Right, you get a big array of different things at a flea market. And with this particular show being as long run as it has, people know about it. And they know that this is the show they're going to find the best of the best. We've got some really fantastic dealers here, from high-end couture to modern, moderate priced items. But they're going to get things that are not damaged. They're going to be in really good wearable condition.
Unusual, a little more hard to find.
What are some of the things that you have seen this weekend that have sold really well?
Oh gosh, let me see. Accessories.
Accessories this weekend was the big thing.
Notice. Even with the economy the way it is, people that have come here, they're here to shop, they're here to buy. They want something that they love, and they know that they can still get a great piece and not pay as high as they would if they were to buy something at a mall, and they're going to get something that's going to last forever. It's been well made, it's well taken care of, And so yeah, I would say accessories have been really the thing.
The men's section that we started about a year and a half ago, we started a men's section here, and that did really well this weekend.
Yeah, we've noticed that.
Can you give us a few tips for people who are going to come to a show for the first time?
Oh gosh, let me see.
People who are aware of vintage and they're going to come here
There's
for the very
always their
first time.
first time learning about vintage.
Either someone who is who knows about vintage and is going to come to a show for the first time, or someone who might be new to vintage.
A couple things, like I mentioned before, careful on the handling of the clothes. And dealers really get upset if you do not handle the clothes with care and respect. Number one. Number two, do not take pictures unless you ask the dealer if it's okay. There are some dealers who just don't want photos taken of their items. So if you're going to do that, it's best to be respectful and ask the dealer if it's okay to take the photos.
Right. And then also too, and then those who are first coming to a show know that you're going to find some amazing pieces. And come with cash. People love cash. Checks are good. Credit cards are good because the show also takes credit cards. We have a credit card machine up front with John Maxwell, who is part owner of the show as well, and they run the credit card machine there, and so credit cards are accepted. But yeah, cash is always great, especially when negotiating. You know, ask for a better price. People are always willing to wheel and deal. So you don't have to be afraid when you see a price tag. There's always a great deal to be made.
And be prepared to spend more than a couple hours. There's a lot to look at.
Definitely.
There's a lot to look at.
So negotiating is okay. It's not faux pas to ask for a lower
Not
price.
at all.
No.
It's expected.
Great. Now, what can we look forward to in the next show at Santa Monica Civic Auditorium?
Next show will be October. We may have a few new dealers then. We're still looking at that. It's not always set in stone. The same dealers who are here today will be here in October because some have other commitments.
And I think too the fashions that are going to be out for that particular season are going to be a lot of evening wear.
Coats.
Yeah, a lot of coats, a lot of velvets. There's parties that are going to be coming up for the holidays.
That's right. New Year's, Christmas.
Yeah, so
People
you'll
are
see a lot
already
of
looking at
formals.
that time.
Tell us one more time where we can find you online.
We're at www.vintagebluemoon.com.
And www.vintageexpo.com.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.